She was New York's infamous realtor to the stars.
She didn't just want to be Linda Stein. She wanted to be Linda Stein in all capital letters, and that's what she was.
She had a certain style for a certain era.
Until her trademark toughness earned her a dangerous enemy.
My mom is in a puddle of blood. Can you help me?
There were blunt force trauma wounds on her head.
The investigation into her death would take police behind the closed doors of New York's elite into a world of entertainment, power, and betrayal.
You know those Agatha Christie stories where a person gets killed and it turns out that everybody in the room had a motive? That's what this case was like.
As I was always told, you never rule anybody out as a suspect.
Tuesday, October 30th, 2007. It's the night before Halloween in one of New York City's most affluent neighborhoods. But for one family, a nightmare is unfolding. Just before 10:30 p.m., police receive an emergency call from a frantic young woman.
Oh my God, please.
Police operator 1142 at emergency. Hello?
Please, I need an ambulance.
Okay, what happened then, ma'am?
My mom, she's dead, I think. Help me, help me.
Hello?
She said she came home and found her mother lying in a pool of blood at the bottom of the stairs. She had no idea what had happened.
Officers are immediately dispatched to the location, a penthouse apartment on the Upper East Side.
As soon as they get there, they can see the victim is dead. No pulse, no breathing. But it's hard to tell what had happened because she's wearing some sort of sweatshirt hoodie and it's covering her head.
There was a pool of blood on the floor, which could indicate a couple of things. In our training, we're not allowed to touch the body, so we have to actually wait for the medical examiner.
Somebody could make the assumption that she possibly could have slipped and fell and banged her head.
But a closer look reveals that this was no accident.
That was all pretty much put to rest when they realized there were holes in the top of the hood because of multiple blunt force injuries.
This woman did not fall. Someone beat her to death.
Somebody being bludgeoned to death and their body left bloody in their own apartment, that just doesn't happen on Fifth Avenue.
And the identity of the victim was even more surprising. One of New York's most notable celebrities, 62-year-old Linda Stein.
Everybody knew who Linda Stein was. She was sort of like one of the main characters in the ongoing soap opera that is New York City. You get these stories in New York of a certain period in the late 60s and early 70s of scrappy outer borough people who come into New York and seek their fortune, usually in entertainment. I'm talking about people like Neil Diamond or Carole King or Phil Spector. Well, Linda Stein was one of those people.
The daughter of a kosher caterer, Linda was born in Manhattan, but raised in the Bronx.
It's really basically the suburbs. And she had a very reasonable, middle-class, Jewish, ordinary, kind of boring life.
After high school, Linda seemed content to stay close to home. In her 20s, she was teaching grade school in the Bronx, but that didn't last for long.
In the late 60s, Linda's life took an unexpected turn when she met Seymour Stein, an up-and-coming music producer whose niece was in Linda's class.
Seymour Stein's record label was Sire Records, one of the most progressive labels of its time. It still exists.
They hit it off right away and began dating. Seymour introduced her to the New York music scene, and she absolutely loved it. It didn't take long for her to quit her job as a school teacher.
She went off to Manhattan, and her life changed completely. She embraced rock and roll. She embraced the counterculture. She joined the underground at a time when the underground was the coolest thing, not just in New York, but in the whole world. Andy Warhol, the works. She was a big part of it.
In 1971, 26-year-old Linda and 29-year-old Seymour decided to become partners, both in life and in business.
Seymour's considered a musical guru. He discovered so many bands. Depeche Mode, he signed Madonna. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on.
They were two people from the neighborhood who had made it and become super cool in the coolest place in the world. And now they were married and a force to contend with. She started to accomplish things by herself. With her friend Danny Fields, she discovered the Ramones. Linda brought them all around the world and turned them into the biggest underground music act of the 70s.
In addition to their music careers, Linda and Seymour had two daughters, Mandy and Samantha. But unfortunately, their marriage wouldn't last.
The best way I could probably describe the marriage between Seymour Stein and Linda Stein is that it was kind of a 70s marriage, that even while they were married, they had extracurricular activities, that they raised a family together and remained devoted to their children, but that the marriage itself was kind of tenuous and elastic from the beginning.
Linda and Seymour split in 1979, and though they remained friends, it wasn't exactly an easy divorce.
It took something like 12 years for the divorce to go through, maybe because they were being combative with one another, but this wasn't a War of the Roses situation where they were tormenting one another. They also were raising daughters, and in fact, Seymour was actually helping Linda out in her business.
After the breakup, Linda decided to launch a new career, this time in real estate.
We met when I worked at Studio 54. As a realtor, connections are paramount. They're the most important thing, especially in a city like New York. And Linda knew everyone.
Madonna, Sting, Billy Joel, Christy Brinkley, and the list goes on and on. Linda worked so many high-profile deals that in the 80s, she eventually became known as the real estate agent to the stars. She was also regularly featured in the gossip columns.
She was in Page Six 8 times in 1 year. She didn't just want to be Linda Stein, she wanted to be Linda Stein in all capital letters, and that's what she was in the 80s.
Linda was kind enough after I got my license to take me on under her wing.
With her brash style and fierce determination, Linda once again rose to fame and fortune. But her greatest challenge was yet to come in her late 40s.
In the early 90s, Linda was diagnosed with breast cancer and went through 2 radical mastectomies.
Linda was so determined to overcome any adversity. Very sweet in a lot of ways, but she was the toughest woman. She was cancer, gonna beat cancer.
Linda survived breast cancer, but in 2005, doctors discovered a benign brain tumor that started causing more health problems. But any hope Linda might have had for a full recovery is now over. Instead, she's become the victim of a brutal attack, and investigators want to know why.
She was brassy and confrontational with everyone. Those of us in the media were saying, well, this is Linda Stein. Who did she annoy? Who did she betray at the office? Or a lover maybe who she spurned? Maybe a rival real estate broker? You know, anything went in terms of the suspect list because this was Linda.
Coming up, the list of enemies turns out to be longer than anyone expected.
Even the people who loved her the most said that she was a verbally abusive person.
Detectives in New York City are investigating the murder of 62-year-old celebrity real estate broker Linda Stein. Their only witness is Linda's daughter Mandy, who found her body and called 911.
Mandy was a documentary filmmaker in Los Angeles, but she had been staying with her mother in New York while she was working on a film. She told police she had come home around 10:30 p.m.
Mandy shows up at the penthouse apartment on 5th Avenue. She goes upstairs, she goes into the apartment, and she sees her mother lying face down in the living room with her sweatshirt pulled over her head.
Mandy did state that she found her mother not breathing and there was blood on the floor. She said she last spoke to her earlier in the day.
Mandy Stein was very helpful in the investigation, giving us information of who was in Linda's life. But it took some time to get that information. She was very, very upset.
As Mandy speaks to detectives, the medical examiner arrives to confirm the cause of death.
She started going over the body. She removed the hoodie over the head. Once she noticed that there were lacerations on top of the head.
They were ruling Linda Stein's death a homicide by blunt force trauma.
It's not like she has one cut and she hit her head or something. There's multiple cuts on the back of her head. Blows from the back of the head. That is a possibility that was surprised that happened.
She was bludgeoned, hit maybe 6 or 7 times, police said, with some sort of heavy object.
While Linda's body is removed for an autopsy, investigators begin searching for the murder weapon.
We now know we're looking for some type of blunt object that could cause the injuries that killed her.
We didn't have the murder weapon at all in the apartment. Our crime scene looked for it. They couldn't find anything. We also don't know exactly what we're looking for yet until we get to the autopsy.
However, police do find several other clues.
The fact that she had the hood over her head. I mean, in other cases, we were always taught that when somebody covers the face, it's usually because that person knows that person.
There had been no forced entry and no sign of a struggle, so it appeared she let her attacker in.
Usually when a sign of a struggle, you would see like chairs knocked down, this knocked down, something broken. We really didn't see that somebody was in the apartment with her when this happened.
It didn't apparently look like a robbery, so why would somebody kill this woman?
I got a call from Linda's daughters, Samantha and Mandy, very early Halloween morning, and I think it was Mandy who said to me, "Mommy's dead." And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? It was completely incredible. Mommy is dead, Mommy is dead.
Widening their search, detectives canvass the building in the hopes that one of the residents might have seen or heard something.
The neighbors were shaken because it's such a nice neighborhood. And on top of that, the building is completely secure. Pretty much nobody makes a move without knowing who came in.
Fifth Avenue in New York is probably everybody's last guess at where unspeakable violent crime would take place.
Unfortunately, no one described seeing anything out of the ordinary. No one in the building they didn't recognize, no strange deliveries, nothing like that.
However, investigators do learn that there is a long list of people who disliked Linda.
We spoke to a number of employees of the building that would say that Miss Stein could be an abrupt person, sometimes have a nasty attitude towards people, and that made people feel uncomfortable.
Even the people who loved her the most said that she was a verbally abusive person, said that she could be cruel to them all the time.
Linda was a tough cookie. She had a certain style for a certain era. Linda could definitely, as much as I loved her, could definitely rub people the wrong way. She had a mouth, as they say.
In fact, police discover that Linda recently clashed with some of the construction workers who were renovating the building.
They were putting a new roof on the building. There may have been as many as 30, 40 construction workers that were in and out all day.
The crew was working directly above Linda's penthouse apartment. She often complained about the noise, and she had a shouting match with some of the workers who one day showed up at her door unannounced.
They got off the wrong floor. They knocked on the door. She felt, they shouldn't even be there.
Could Linda have pushed one of them too far?
What we were learning is that they felt that Linda was mean to them. She would always curse them out because they were making so much noise. We were told that she would call them names. She would tell them to get the F out of here, stop making a racket. It was almost a daily thing.
One thing that people were saying after Linda Stein died is maybe she finally ticked off the wrong person.
Coming up, the list of suspects continues to grow.
As I was always told, you never rule anybody out as a suspect.
It's been several hours since celebrity real estate agent Linda Stein was found beaten to death in her penthouse apartment, and detectives have no shortage of potential suspects.
You know those Agatha Christie stories where a person gets killed and it turns out that everybody in the room had a motive? Well, that's what this case was like, only the room was the Upper East Side of Manhattan and the real estate business and the rock and roll business. At one point or another, this particular victim had made enemies of everybody in all of those worlds.
We interviewed many people that are employed at the building, service-oriented people that did say that Linda Stein can be abrupt, can be nasty in the way she talks to people at times, and, avoided it.
Investigators are particularly interested in speaking to a group of construction workers Linda argued with several days before.
It wasn't considered a manhunt looking for a individual because we had just so much to do with the people at the building. We had enough to do without saying we're going to be looking for a certain individual. We had to go through everybody first.
We spoke to the elevator operator. We spoke to the super.
Police found out that construction workers used a back service elevator and could only gain access to the apartments by a back door, and even then the superintendent had to let them in.
But when investigators check Linda's apartment, they find the service door bolted shut.
The door was actually locked from the inside. There's only one key, and then you have the deadbolt, which there's no key for from the outside.
When police tracked down all of the construction workers who had been working in the building that day, they all said none of them had ever even been inside Linda's apartment.
From the interviews that were done, nobody could establish a motive that one of the workers were involved in killing Linda Stein.
With the construction workers cleared, investigators turned their attention to who else was in the building that day.
We started watching the surveillance footage. Once we established that it was a homicide, we did go with the super, and the super let us view the video.
Since the elevator operator was able to identify everyone who came in and out of the building that day, he was able to help narrow down the search quite a bit.
We spoke to him in regards to, besides Mandy, who came out before. He said it was only one other person who came in a couple times during the day, and that was Natavia Lowry.
Detectives learned that 26-year-old Natavia Lowry is Linda's personal assistant, hired by the real estate company Linda worked for.
They hired a temp agency to help them procure personal assistants for some of their top brokers. If you did a certain amount of money, which Linda always certainly did, you were actually entitled to have an assistant that they would pay for.
Of course, police were going to want to talk to her because she had access in and out of the building, and most likely she was the last person to see Linda alive.
When I first met Natavia, she was surprised about hearing this news that her boss was murdered. She seemed upset, but she wasn't weeping. She was a very attractive young lady. She was a graduate of North Carolina State. She was very intelligent. She aspired, I believe, to be an actress.
On the face of it, they may not have had a lot in common. An established celebrity real estate broker and a young woman who really has absolutely no job history or no career to speak of and comes from nowhere, from a mile away from Williamsburg out in Brooklyn. But on the other hand, they both are outsiders who have come into Manhattan, and it's just that Linda's a little further along the track.
According to Natavia, working for Linda was often challenging, but always rewarding.
She could be rude to some of the workers. She had witnessed that, but overall, she got along with her. She told me it was tough, but she was learning a lot.
It was not your typical business assistant job. It was almost like a home health aide job combined with clerical work and phone answering.
According to Natavia, Linda smoked a lot of marijuana in order to deal with the pain, and she also required a lot of assistance.
She's slowing down, but you can see when somebody has something major like a brain tumor, it affects them.
She would set up Linda's appointments, saw a lot of her bill paying, a lot of her financial stuff for the short time she was there. She would also do things like get her lunch, do her makeup, anything that she would need.
Investigators are particularly interested to know what she and Linda were both doing that day.
Natavia said she had shown up at the apartment to take care of the normal chores, but like so many mornings, Linda wanted to take a power walk.
Natavia indicated that at some point during the day, Linda was going to go out and do one of those fast-paced walks. I did her makeup, and I left the building a couple times to go to the office to get some supplies.
When police asked Natavia how she got to work every day, She said she always walked, less for the exercise and more to save money. She said she expected to see Linda at the office later that day, but she didn't.
She left Linda a long voicemail, a very routine, run-of-the-mill, ho-hum, hi, but making it clear that she wasn't there, that she didn't see Linda, that Linda was out somewhere, and that she would see her tomorrow.
When detectives ask her if she knows of anyone who might want to hurt Linda, Natavia tells them about a former lover.
Raul, at age 49, was nearly 15 years younger than Linda. He started out as her protege, but in 2005, their relationship took a romantic turn.
I remember staying at the house a couple of weekends in the Hamptons. Raul came to stay with Linda. He seemed to genuinely really like her a lot. Yeah, that I could see.
But according to Natavia, Linda had broken up with Raul when she discovered he was using her.
He wasn't as into her as she was into him. In fact, he wanted her for her business contacts.
The New York real estate industry is incredibly cutthroat. You're dealing with apartments and commissions that run into the millions and millions of dollars just for being someone's agent or just for selling an apartment.
It makes you wonder if he wanted payback for Linda cutting him out of her life. Did he want to become the realtor to the stars?
Coming up, the surveillance tapes lead to a startling revelation.
She noticed something that nobody else picked up on, a reflection in the glass.
On November 2nd, 2007, Linda Stein is laid to rest. Among the mourners are some of New York's biggest celebrities.
It wasn't just celebrities. All of her family and friends and co-workers from the real estate agency were there as well.
The thing that I remember most of all is standing in the back in the doorway crying was Natavia Lowry. It was wrenching, really, because this was an open murder case. And nobody knew who did it. And her daughters both spoke. One spoke tearfully, the other spoke with rage about trying to find out who had done this to their mother.
Linda's ex-husband, Seymour Stein, also spoke at the funeral and gave a very powerful eulogy.
He was very emotional. He was in disbelief that something like this could happen. And this is years after they had been married.
Linda's ex-husband and their two daughters are all cleared. Detectives' best remaining suspect seems to be one of Linda's former lovers, Raul, who Linda had broken up with a year prior to the murder.
If he was dating Linda only for her contacts in the real estate agency, then he lost his best chance at success when Linda broke up with him. But unfortunately, he didn't pan out as a suspect either.
I did interview Raul. He was eventually ruled out. He could account for his time. I could account that he wasn't in and out of the building that day based on the video surveillance. So yes, he was one of the few personal friends that we spoke to that we ruled out as soon as we spoke to him.
At that point, police were pretty much back at square one. So they went back to the security footage from the building, hoping they had missed something.
Different detectives were watching 24 hours of video from 5 or 6 different cameras, 24 hours of sitting there watching. It takes time, it's tiresome.
While that was going on, a forensics team went through every inch of Linda's penthouse apartment looking for clues.
They did major surgery on that apartment. They were pulling door jambs off the walls, and they went into the bathroom and they pulled the entire basin going down into the drain to see if maybe somebody had left a hair or skin cells or anything that might connect Linda to someone else at the time of her death.
Despite the massive effort, the team comes up empty-handed. But a few days later, police finally catch a break, thanks to one sharp-eyed investigator.
She was looking at the video and she noticed something that nobody else picked up on. The front glass door was opened by the doorman. And as it opened, it caught a reflection in the glass of Natavia getting out of a cab holding money in her hand.
That was something that immediately stuck out to police because it contradicted part of her earlier statement.
Discrepancy in her 2 prior statements was picked up. She had told us that she always walked wherever she went when she left the building that day of the murder, based upon what we saw on video. And it was the first time we were able to say, she's not telling us the truth about something.
If Natavia had been caught on tape lying about taking a cab back to Linda's apartment that day, what else could she be lying about? When the autopsy report comes in, it contradicts another part of Natavia's story.
She had stated that she put makeup on Linda before Linda left to walk to work. We had learned that her body was examined by the medical examiner's office and there were no traces of makeup on Linda that day.
If it's just one of these things, you might think that she either misspoke or didn't remember correctly, but taken together, this was a major red flag.
If people lie about the little things, there is potential that they could be lying about the bigger things. Everything needs to be investigated.
On November 8th, 2007, 9 days after Linda's murder, detectives sit down with Natavia for another interview.
During the interview, we asked her about being truthful, about where she went when she left the building. Her bubbly demeanor started to diminish. She started to get upset when we started asking her about where she'd been. We know you weren't walking to work. We know you got into a car. We know it was a cab.
Instead of answering, she'd ask for bathroom breaks. When she came back from the bathroom, she seemed much calmer. Detectives later learned she had used that time and used her phone to text her boyfriend in Virginia.
They were talking about how much they loved each other. Can't wait to see you. It's kind of interesting that that's what she would choose to do in the middle of an interview, but so be it.
Since Natavia doesn't seem to be taking their questions seriously, investigators decide to turn up the heat.
She started changing her story about the first interview she gave me. She started getting emotional.
Natavia finally decided to come clean and tell police exactly what happened that night. And it was one hell of a story.
Coming up, an unreliable witness becomes the prime suspect.
I was mad. I was confused. I was angry.
A little more than a week after Linda Stein was found brutally murdered, investigators have a suspect in custody. Linda's personal assistant, Natavia Lowry.
She was close to Linda. It was known that she was one of the last people, if not the last person, to see Linda alive.
When police hit her with all of the discrepancies in her story, she got very upset and said she would finally tell them exactly what happened.
But what Natavia tells detectives sounds more like a bad dream than reality.
She started talking about how ninjas came up through the back entrance.
According to Natavia, she and Linda were in the apartment alone when a masked man burst in with a hammer and began attacking them.
Told her they were going to harm her and her family if she said anything, and they killed Miss Stein. It was kind of an unbelievable story. It's tough to take in.
Not only does Natavia's story about a killer ninja appear ridiculous, it's actually impossible because of all of the building's security cameras.
We tried getting detectives into the building unseen by every entrance, and they got picked up on tape at some point in time. It's impossible to get into the building without being caught on tape. We pretty much told us, listen, no ninja came in.
However, their skepticism doesn't stop Natavia from concocting another tall tale.
She said sometimes she would black out and then she would wake up and be in these crazy rages.
Listen, detectives, it's happened to me once before. It happened in college. I blacked out, and when I woke up, I was told that I was choking my roommate.
So her story became, I didn't do anything to Linda, but if I did, I couldn't really remember because of all of these blackouts that I had.
You probably would have told us earlier on if you blacked out in a medical condition. He says, that didn't happen. You know, it's the first time we're hearing about this.
Faced with murder charges, Natavia decides to try one last version of events. The truth.
There were no ninjas or blackouts this time, but she killed Linda out of self-defense.
Linda Stein, who we all know could be tough on people, was especially tough on her. Not just garden variety tough, but like racist tough. And that she couldn't take it anymore, and that she somehow snapped, and that this was an impulsive act and not a premeditated act.
Natavia writes a signed confession, which she repeats for the district attorney on camera.
I was mad. I was confused. I was angry, paranoid. It was like a feeling like I never had before. It was like, it felt like she was like my worst enemy, you know?
Natavia claimed that Linda lashed out at her that morning, both physically and emotionally.
She said that she felt demeaned by Miss Stein. She was blowing marijuana smoke in her face.
It's like, I don't let her buy my lunch, you know? I buy my lunch, you know? And so she was like, that's the first I hear somebody black saving their money, right? So she's pointing the cane at me now, right? So she just looks crazy right now. Her hand is, you know, going like that. And then she had like her, it's like a wooden baton type thing.
Natavia described the baton as a stick that Linda used to help her with yoga stretches. It was like a cane, but without the handle, and Linda was swinging at her with it.
I sit on the couch. So she's like waving a cane and stuff at me. Then it's like, I don't know, like after that remark and stuff, and you know, her screaming and yelling, I just snatched it from her. So I took it and it's like, I just hit her with it.
She said that she snapped, that this was an emotional act because she had been so terribly abused by Linda, because Linda had blown pot smoke in her face, because Linda had made racial remarks against her.
She said she just lost it. She just lost it.
And once Natavia started hitting Linda, she couldn't stop.
And I did it like a couple more times.
On her head. After the first time she fell, and then you continued to hit her on the head with the stick.
Yes.
You know how many times you hit her?
That wasn't myself. I can't count.
The statement that we just taken puts the weapon in our hand, killing Miss Stein.
On November 9th, 2007, 10 days after Linda was murdered, Natavia Lowry is arrested and charged with second-degree murder.
By the time we took her out of the precinct, it was probably like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning.
I thought back to seeing her there at the funeral, standing there in the back, crying.
She wanted to be an actress. She was doing a great job up until a certain point, but we're better.
Coming up, what appears to be an open and shut case is suddenly cast into doubt.
Miss Lowry's confession should have never been obtained that way.
On November 9th, 2007, Natavia Lowry is arraigned for the murder of her employer, 62-year-old celebrity real estate agent Linda Stein. The judge orders her to be held without bail, but Natavia's lawyers have other ideas.
They claimed her confession was taken illegally and therefore should be inadmissible.
Detectives decided to take her statement, regardless of the fact that they knew she was represented by an attorney. Miss Lowry's confession should have never been obtained that way.
So when we sat her down, first thing we did was, do you have a lawyer or not? Because I'm going to read you your Miranda warnings. And I don't want any confusion about if you're represented by a lawyer. Because if you're represented by a lawyer, we can't talk anymore. And she waived her Miranda warnings, and we started interviewing her.
The judge agrees, ruling that Natavia's taped confession could be used during trial. But there was more bad news to come.
That was already a big blow to the defense, but prosecutors got even more when they got a hold of Linda's financial records. A financial forensic analysis revealed a pattern of deception. Natavia had looted tens of thousands of dollars from Linda practically from the day she began working for her.
We know that Tavia stole approximately $30,000 while employed.
Those financial records are admitted into evidence when the trial begins in January of 2010, over 2 years after Linda's murder. Linda's loved ones testify that she'd voiced her concern to them sometime prior to her death.
She said to me, "What would you do if you found out someone was stealing from you?" I said, "Well, I would certainly look into it." And Linda said to me, "I need to talk to this person about what's going on, and be upfront about it," which I felt Linda wouldn't have any problem doing, so.
The prosecution's theory was that Linda actually confronted Natavia about stealing the money, and that was the reason why Natavia killed her.
To convince the jury, prosecutors play the entire 90-minute confession, in which Natavia changes her story several times before describing the murder in detail.
I just snatched it from her. Once I had took it, and it's like I just hit her with it.
In the video, Natavia claims Linda provoked her by blowing marijuana smoke in her face. But the autopsy report indicated that was yet another lie.
Toxicology results came back that there was no marijuana in her system.
Prosecutors argue that Natavia's own actions prove that she didn't snap as she claimed. She knew exactly what she was doing and tried to cover it up.
She pulled the sweatshirt over Linda's face, but then she took a phone call and said that Linda wasn't there and would be right back. And then she went to an ATM and took $800 out of Linda's account.
The surveillance video shows Natavia arriving for work just before noon and then leaving at 1:19 p.m. with a full shopping bag. The prosecutor suggests it could have contained the murder weapon, which was never found.
Miss Lowry showed up to work wearing parachute sweatpants. When she left the building, captured on video, she had the same pants on, but the baggy pockets from the parachute pants were no longer there. It was believed that she was wearing her pants inside out.
The implication was that Natavia had Linda's blood on her pants, and that's why she turned them inside out. But as the defense pointed out, they didn't have the pants or any other physical evidence to connect her to the crime.
After a month-long trial, Natavia's fate rests in the hands of the jury. They deliberate for only 5 hours before reaching a verdict.
Natavia Lowry is found guilty, murder, second degree, and the judge gave her 25 to life for the murder and additional time for the larcenies related to it. And she is not eligible for parole until 27 years.
While no verdict or sentence will ever bring our mother Linda Stein back to us, we are extremely satisfied with the decision. I'm relieved for society that woman will never be on the street.
It seemed justice had been served. But was Linda's murder an act of revenge by an abused employee, or simply the result of a young woman's greed?
I feel there are really two ways of looking at this case. Either the suspect was seeking revenge because her boss had been so horrible to her, or the suspect had been looking to con her boss all along and was unstable and snapped and ended up killing her.
Trying to get the job done with not enough knowledge of the theft that was going on, trying to dance around it. She almost pulled it off.
I miss my friend. I miss her directness. I mean, I love that about Linda, that she was direct, She was a real New York character, but she was also a very loving person. I was fortunate enough to see that side of her.
was a beloved professor with a distinguished career.
He was a plant biologist, really doing some interesting work. You could not meet a nicer person.
Until an act of terror turned his university into a battleground.
First thing that went through my mind is, oh no, a student has lost it and is going on a rampage.
The whole world has changed in less than a minute.
And in their search for answers, detectives would uncover a dark history of jealousy and revenge.
It was an ego thing, it was an anger thing, this selfish arrogance, this I'm gonna get my way.
It was almost like something from a movie.
February 12, 2010. It's 4 p.m. on a typical Friday afternoon at the Huntsville, Alabama Police Department.
The chief was out of town, and I was doing some paperwork, and we were winding down for the weekend.
Until suddenly, an emergency call puts everyone on high alert.
I did have an arrest that morning, and I had just finished the arrest when I heard the call come out that there was a shooting at the University of Alabama in Huntsville.
The call came from somebody that was in the room. We didn't know the extent of the incident. We didn't know how many people were victims.
Officers from multiple law enforcement agencies immediately converge on the location.
We had the Huntsville Police Department, we had the Sheriff's Department with Madison County, we had the University of Alabama and Huntsville Police Department, we had the FBI, the Alabama State Troopers, all those different agencies responded over there.
We knew when we were dispatched that it was a shooting on the third floor at the Shelby Center.
While paramedics get ready to treat the victims, a SWAT team secures the building and begins a campus-wide search for the shooter.
The most important mission is to go in and stop the threat and get those people medical treatment. But there are a lot of other people in the building. It's close to 200,000 square feet. And we have to clear the building and make sure that there's no other threat in the building.
It was mass chaos. Nobody knew if there was one shooter, multiple shooters.
In a conference room, they find a scene more suited to a battlefield than a place of higher learning.
The chairs had been moved, the tables had been upended. It was chaos inside the room, and of course it was filled with blood.
There were 13 people in that room. You have 3 dead and then 2 extremely seriously injured and then 1 other injured.
The 3 victims are evacuated for treatment. 3 others are already dead. 52-year-old Dr. Gopi Padilla and 2 of his staff, Dr. Adriel Johnson and Dr. Maria Davis.
These were some of the most beloved professors that we had on campus.
Gopi Krishna Padilla was born in Guntur, India.
When he was 25, he moved to the United States to continue his education. He got a doctorate in molecular biology from Louisiana State University.
He was a plant biologist. He was really doing some interesting work.
By 1990, Dr. Padilla's career was taking off. At 33, he'd not only become an assistant professor at Michigan Tech, he was also being scouted by other universities.
In 2002, he accepted an offer at the University of Alabama, Huntsville. It was a big step up for him.
University of Alabama, Huntsville is definitely a science and mathematics university. So a lot of engineering, a lot of technical learning going on there.
Gopi was recruited as a chair to the biological sciences department.
Despite his busy schedule, Dr. Padilla still found time to be a loving husband, father, and supportive mentor to his staff.
He would counsel them on personal issues. You really should take time to be with your family. He was really concerned with their personal lives as well as their professional lives. He was more of a coach to them than he was a boss.
You could not meet a nicer person than Gopi, really.
Not long after his arrival, Dr. Padilla helped start a doctoral program in biology at UAH, collaborating with fellow professors Dr. Adriel Johnson and Dr. Maria Ragland Davis.
Adriel used to send students to do research through our program, and I, over the years, used to talk to them about different things. I had actually talked to Maria quite a bit about her helping teach a class in chemical engineering.
They were well-loved, well-educated people teaching future leaders and future stars of our community and of our nation. I mean, they were just good people.
But their plans for the department would never be realized. Now, all three have been killed in a mass shooting, and police are scrambling to locate the gunmen.
The officers form their team and they go in the building to try to locate the threat, to end that threat.
They're trying to get as much information as they can about this person. Who are they? Were they alone? Where are they going? What are they wearing?
Coming up, the survivors name a surprising suspect.
I can't recall another incident anywhere else that's similar. It just never happens like this, and it did.
A shooting at the University of Alabama has left 3 faculty members injured and 3 dead, including the chair of the biology department, Dr. Gopi Padilla. While the survivors are being rushed to the hospital, Huntsville police are conducting a campus-wide search for the gunman.
The assumption when I heard about the shooting was that it was a student who had opened fire, because that's what was happening all over the United States.
Word of the tragedy quickly spreads outside the community.
School shootings are a big deal because they're always shocking and always terrible.
We actually had national news media calling the office because the 911 center was instructed to refer all those calls to the chief's office.
I was just shocked because I knew everybody in that room. I mean, I couldn't believe that this had actually happened.
There were other people in the room that escaped injury, and they did so because of their actions. When they called 911, they actually were able to give a description of her and give her name, Professor Amy Bishop.
Although she was raised in Boston, Massachusetts, Amy's background was somewhat similar to Dr. Padilla.
They're all very smart, very much into academics. Her father was a professor. Her mother was what we would call a city council person. They were affluent in the community.
She had a brother, Seth Bishop, who was about 2 or 3 years younger than she was. They were both into music and quite gifted. She didn't have the social skills, certainly, that her brother had. And so there may have been a little bit of jealousy between the two of them.
Everybody knew the smarts she had. She was a genius. She had a mind like no other.
After high school, Amy attended Northeastern University, where her father taught art. Instead, she decided to major in biology.
She didn't have a lot of friends, but she wound up connecting with a fellow biology major named James Anderson. They dated throughout college and ultimately got married in the summer of 1989.
The thought was that the two of them could never have been successfully married to anybody else, that they sort of completed each other.
As happy as James made her, Amy's ambitions went beyond being a wife and mother.
She grew up with privilege. It was just understood that she's going to go to Harvard and she's going to do certain things.
For Amy, who was just hankering to outdo Seth, when she got into Harvard, that was the grand prize. That was it. Now it could be Dad, Mom, look at me.
By 1993, Amy had not only born 2 children, she'd also completed a PhD in genetics.
You would think someone that accomplished and that driven would be successful immediately, but that didn't turn out to be the case.
They struggled financially. Even though they were both highly educated, neither one of them really could make a living.
Over the next 10 years, Amy went from one low-paying research job to another, while James tried to freelance as a computer engineer.
He was hoping to successfully discover something that would make him the money that they would need to support the family.
They wind up having 2 more children as well. That's 4 mouths to feed, and they still don't have stable careers.
But all that changed in 2003, when Amy was offered a position at the University of Alabama. It was the change she'd been waiting for.
It is a great school for engineering and the sciences, and this is some place that that drew her in, that was good for her and her field of study.
What the university typically does is give you a period of about 6 years to prove to the university that you have the skill sets to teach, to do research, to be able to attract funding from other sources.
Then you apply for tenure. That would mean essentially a permanent position on that faculty. If you've got tenure, you've got nearly a guaranteed job for the foreseeable future.
The couple moved to Huntsville, and while James cared for the children, Amy began her career as associate professor of biology.
James did part-time work, but nothing that was much of substance. She was the breadwinner and living off her salary at UAH.
She really sank her teeth into that position, and it didn't take her long to stand out.
She had designed this automated culturing process, a petri dish as it were. And the idea there is that if you can automate something that is done normally in the lab, you'll get more consistent results. So I thought that was impressive.
Amy's invention brought more than $1 million of funding to the university and seemed to make her tenure a foregone conclusion.
The students were happy with her. It seemed like she was happy to be here. The atmosphere was good.
So what could have caused a successful biologist and mother of 4 children to turn into a cold-blooded killer?
I don't know what would have prompted that. It seemed like she had everything.
Coming up, the hunt for Amy Bishop comes to an unexpected end.
She had the eyes that were real evil looking.
Huntsville police are conducting a campus-wide search for Professor Amy Bishop after witnesses named her as the gunman in a mass shooting that killed 3 of her colleagues.
They have no idea if Amy has fled the scene already or if she intends to hurt herself or anyone else. All police know at that point is she's wearing a pink shirt and jeans, and she's considered armed and dangerous.
Law enforcement agencies have mobilized to handle multiple scenarios, but the manhunt ends almost as quickly as it began.
All the agencies knew a description of the individual. She had come out of the building and she was engaged in a discussion with the deputy. And Officer Torker realized that this person is identical to the description that we have.
She just looked like a normal, middle-aged woman. She didn't look like she murdered anybody. She was just walking normally. We had her at gunpoint, and he told her to get down on her knees. She didn't appear distraught or anything like that. I mean, it's just, she asked me what was going on.
She doesn't have a weapon on her or any signs that she was involved in these shootings. But there are multiple eyewitnesses who says she's the one who did it.
I asked her what her name was, and she said Amy Bishop. At that time, I knew that we had the right person. I went ahead and handcuffed her and led her back to my patrol car.
Just 15 minutes after the 911 call, Amy Bishop is in custody.
She immediately began saying, "This didn't happen. I don't know what y'all are talking about. No, they're still alive."
This didn't happen. There's no way. They're still alive.
As the officers take Amy into custody, her husband James arrives. And when they tell him why his wife is being arrested, he seems confused.
He says Amy asked him to pick her up from work, and he has no idea what's going on.
They arrest him too because they weren't sure if he had something to do with this.
We detained them, both of them, separately, and took them down to the precinct to be interviewed.
Amy and James both deny any involvement in the shooting, but a search of the biology building turns up some damning evidence.
Police find a 9mm handgun and a woman's bloody coat stuffed into a garbage can in a restroom on the 2nd floor. And inside the conference room, they find a bag with a 9mm gun clip in it. They run a background search on the gun, and it turns out it's registered to James Anderson. Any doubts you might have had at that point immediately go away.
Amy is charged with 3 counts of murder and attempted murder. It's unclear whether James is an accomplice or just trying to protect his wife, but police have no choice but to let him go.
We all felt like that he knew a whole lot more than what he was letting on, but we just could not, we just couldn't connect him enough to charge him.
James acts like he has no idea why Amy might have done this, and she's refusing to talk. But her colleagues have plenty to say about her.
When we started looking at the background and trying to figure out what the motive was for what she did, it turns out that she had been struggling for a while.
Colleagues tell police that after her early success, Amy seemed to take career advancement for granted, and it wasn't working out well for her.
She had been there a few years. Things were not going the way she wanted them to go as far as her career there.
She wasn't accomplishing maybe what she needed to for tenure, that the mood sort of started to change. She had several papers that were not probably up to par.
They say Amy's attitude wasn't winning her any friends in the department either.
She was extremely arrogant and that she was better than they were in her own eyes, and that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
She would introduce herself as, "I'm Dr. Amy Bishop, Harvard educated." And so that was her defining everything about her, was that she was Harvard educated.
In the spring of 2009, after 6 years at the university, Amy's bid for tenure finally arrived.
She had gone on a kind of a political campaign around her colleagues, trying to basically force them into saying whether or not they were going to support her or not.
She was denied.
If you were denied tenure at not the biggest, best-known school in the country, despite your Harvard degree, you're going to scramble to find the next job.
The fact that she didn't get all the recognition that she probably thought she would get because she's a Harvard grad. I can only imagine the anger, the resentment.
Gopi was prepared to help her also go through the process and whatever she needed as she moved on. He was a really nice fellow.
But Amy refused to accept defeat.
She appealed the decision and spent months trying to get the administration to change their mind.
You can almost feel the pressure in her just building. Nobody's going to treat me this way. Nobody treats Amy Bishop this way, and I'm not going to stand for it.
She had gone to a shooting range and practiced, and she was talking to her students about practicing and how much she enjoyed shooting.
By February of 2010, Amy had received notification that her final appeal had been denied.
For Amy Bishop, the jig was up as far as her continued employment at UAH.
It seems plain that she felt aggrieved, and these are the people who had wronged her.
But if Amy wanted payback, why shoot 6 of her coworkers and leave the others unscathed?
I think she had 8 or 9 rounds still in the magazine.
You have to wonder if she was targeting Dr. Gopi and the others were just in the way. Or maybe she just snapped.
Coming up, investigators discover there is more behind the shooting than a simple act of revenge.
It shakes you when your own teacher is capable of such horrendous acts.
Dr. Amy Bishop has been charged with shooting 6 of her colleagues at the University of Alabama, but police are still left with several questions.
It looks like she's been passed over for a promotion and is now looking to get revenge, but they still don't know what happened.
The best evidence we have are the survivors in the room that were there and present. We had eyewitnesses that saw everything.
Witnesses say that around 3 p.m., the biology department gathered for a staff meeting on the 3rd floor of the Shelby Center.
Instead of having a center table, that particular room had 3 tables set up in a U-shaped form.
There were about a dozen faculty members there, and as the chair of the department, Dr. Padilla was sitting right up front.
They were, as I understand it, discussing the curriculum for the next year, and Dr. Bishop walked in after the meeting had started.
Amy took a seat next to Dr. Gopi. Multiple people mentioned that she had a bag with her and that she kept it on her lap throughout the whole meeting.
I don't think anybody thought anything unusual about that bag. It was just unusual for her to be there.
Faculty members, to a person, said, we were a little surprised when she showed up at the meeting because we knew she was not going to be there the following semester.
They say Amy remained quiet throughout the meeting, giving no reason for anyone to suspect what was about to happen.
She sat there for probably close to an hour. And then during their agenda, they went from one topic to the next, and everybody kind of looked down to see what was going on.
She got up and she pulled out of her bag a 9mm Ruger, and she started shooting.
Doctors Padilla, Johnson, and Davis were her first targets. They all died instantly.
She was just going around the room, just very calmly, like she knew exactly what she was doing.
As she's shooting everyone, it's chaos, as you can imagine, in the room.
A friend of Amy's, Dr. Deborah Moriarty, tells investigators that she tried to stop her.
Dr. Moriarty was across at least 2 tables away from Amy Bishop. When the shooting started, she was not in her immediate sight, so she ducked under the table.
She was grabbing at Amy's ankles, trying to get her to fall, to stop. And she kept pleading with her. You know my family. I know your family. Don't do this. You don't have to do this.
But instead of listening to Deborah's pleas, Amy tried to kill her too.
Amy Bishop pointed the gun at her point blank and pulled the trigger. Wouldn't fire.
Just click, click, click. The gun was still jammed. She was still pulling the trigger.
She grabs Amy, pushes her out of the room, locks the door, and then everyone else comes and starts barricading the door behind her. It was as heroic an action as you would ever see.
It was all over within about 40 seconds.
Investigators believe that's when Amy decided to make her escape.
She went to the bathroom, washed off the gun, washed her hands from the blood.
She took off her bloody jacket and stuffed it in the trash.
Put the gun into the trash can.
Then she walks out of there like nothing had even happened.
She called her husband and she says, I'm ready to go. Come get me.
But Amy's colleagues tell police her motive couldn't have been as simple as revenge, because the people she shot were the only ones in the department who supported her.
Dr. Padilla, the department chair, and the others actually supported her tenure. They were in the minority of folks who wanted her to get tenure. These gentle, smart people. A lot of them stuck up for her.
That's what's shocking to me, frankly. To turn against the very people who were going to help her was just, I still have a hard time imagining that right now. It's like, why would you do that?
The magazine was fully loaded, so she had 16 rounds in the gun, and then she had another 15 rounds in a magazine in her purse. So she had 31 rounds for 13 people.
Had it not malfunctioned, who knows what would have gone on.
When investigators dig a little deeper into Amy's background, what they find is disturbing.
We started uncovering many things in her past that just revealed a violent history.
The first thing they come across is an arrest record from Massachusetts, where Amy was living before she took the job at UAH. In 2002, she went out to breakfast with her family and got into an argument with another mother there who apparently took the last booster seat for her kid.
When Amy came in, she demanded that booster seat. She started cursing at this woman, using a lot of profanity, and she slugs the woman and then starts out the door and hits somebody else on the way out. So the police arrest her.
Amy was charged with assault and battery. She pled guilty and was placed on probation. Prosecutors apparently recommended anger management classes.
But that wasn't the only time Amy had resorted to violence.
They come across a report from 1993 when they were still in Chicago. And this time, it's even worse.
Amy was working in a department at Children's Hospital, and she was having trouble getting along with her colleagues.
One of her former professors had given her a bad evaluation, and she had gone and confronted the professor and said, "You better change your evaluation or else." And he said, "I'm sticking by my evaluation."
A few days later, Amy's professor had come home to a mysterious package on his front porch. It turned out to be a pipe bomb.
It didn't go off, thank the Lord, but the interesting thing about the pipe bomb, the powder, the black powder inside of it can only be purchased in one place. They traced it back to one place here in Alabama. So she was a suspect. The evidence was strong enough, but probably not enough to get a conviction in the pipe bombing.
No charges were ever brought against Amy Bishop, but to investigators, a clear pattern is emerging.
This selfish arrogance, this I'm going to get my way, you are not going to interfere with me and my goals and what I want, that certainly was there with her all along.
She was one of those people who just didn't see people as people. They were more objects to be moved around on the chessboard so she could win the game and get what she wanted.
Coming up, a 24-year-old case sheds new light on the mind of a killer.
She got away with it once. Something in her psyche said, doesn't matter, I can pick up a gun again.
I believe that she is as evil a person as I've ever seen.
In the days following her arrest, investigators have discovered that Dr. Amy Bishop has a long history of violence. But one crime in particular stands out, a shooting back in 1986.
When Amy was 21 years old, her brother Seth was shot and killed. Turns out, Amy was the one who shot him.
Her brother was 18 at the time, and by all accounts, he was the star of the family, and really the brighter and better one of the two children.
Everybody loved him, and so there may have been a little bit of jealousy.
According to the statement she gave police at the time, Amy had been left alone in her parents' house after an argument.
The father had fussed at both of the children about leaving their things on the floor. Amy had smarted off to him, and she went off to her room.
Her brother apparently went to go get groceries, and then her mother went to ride horses at the stable. Then her father left as well.
Amy said that she'd been scared because the house was broken into the year before, so she decided to take precautions.
She went and got her father's shotgun, and she loaded it.
And it's a pump shotgun. With a pump shotgun, you actually have to rack that round to get it ready to shoot it.
She claimed that it went off by itself. She laid the shotgun on the bed, she wasn't anywhere near it, and it blew a hole into the wall of her bedroom.
A little while later, Amy's mother and her brother returned home.
She went down into the kitchen carrying the shotgun. She said that she didn't know how to unload it, so that's why she was bringing it to him.
Her brother is standing in the kitchen with her mother, and she's got it leveled at him, and they're talking.
They both said, "Be careful, you're going to shoot somebody." And her brother said, "You need to point it up in the air."
Both Amy and her mother would later tell police that the gun went off accidentally.
The next thing she knows, she cuts him in half right in the kitchen with the shotgun.
Amy's mother immediately calls 911, and her father arrives about the same time the paramedics do. But it's already too late.
There's nothing that can be done for him. it destroyed his heart. And so he bled out.
At the time, Massachusetts police ruled his death a tragic accident. But after the shooting in Alabama, investigators in Massachusetts decide to take a second look at the 1986 shooting report.
None of it really makes any sense when you look at guns don't go off unless you pull the trigger. You can accidentally pull the trigger and not mean for it to go off, which could explain the first shot. But she racks the round again before she walked downstairs to accidentally pull the trigger again while it's pointed at her brother.
They began to reopen the investigation, and as prosecutors began to dig into that, they found anomalies in how the case was handled.
They also discover some significant details from that day had been mysteriously left out.
It turns out the shooting didn't happen exactly as it was described. After the gun went off, Amy ran out of the house and into the street.
There was a woman driving by. Amy pointed the shotgun at the driver and wanted to commandeer her car. She says, "My husband is trying to kill me. I need to get away," which of course made no sense whatsoever. The woman drove off and called 911.
She runs down to the local Ford dealership where there's a couple of guys working back in the garage, levels the shotgun on them and says, "I need a car."
Officers responding to the 911 call managed to arrest Amy at the car dealership. But once again, no charges were filed.
Why she wasn't charged with the other incidents that happened on that same day, everybody has asked that question since.
All those things are intentional acts, down to racking the round, pulling the trigger, and then taking off and coming up with a story at the Ford dealership. None of it holds water as far as it being an accident.
No matter how she got away with it, Alabama detectives are convinced the shooting gave Amy Bishop a taste for vengeance.
You can see this building over time. She had already killed one person. She could have killed the professor with the pipe bomb. He was just lucky it didn't go off. Amy was a ticking time bomb herself.
Massachusetts police agree. On June 16, 2010, almost 24 years after his death, Amy is indicted for the first-degree murder of Seth Bishop.
People got angry. Why is it that the people that hired her was not aware of this fact?
When she's arrested, she uses the name Anderson, her married name. But when they do the background check on Bishop, they find that she's got a clean slate.
If you've got an amazing credential from an amazing university, you're a woman and a mother, people are much more reluctant to believe you also may be a mass murderer. Unfortunately, our packages sometimes fool us.
Now, Amy Bishop faces 3 murder charges for her colleagues at the University of Alabama, Huntsville, and an additional murder charge for her brother's death in Massachusetts. Coming up, Amy's defense strategy gives prosecutors cause for concern.
She had good lawyers. You knew it was going to be a real fight.
There was probably a big part of her that felt like she would beat this.
Dr. Amy Bishop has been charged with murdering her brother Seth after new evidence was unearthed in the 24-year-old case. But first, she will have to stand trial for the February 2010 killing of 3 of her colleagues at the University of Alabama.
If the proposition is, can we prove she did it? It's as strong as you could ever hope for.
We had eyewitnesses in the room that saw her do the shooting. We recovered the gun. We recovered her bloody clothes at the scene. And then we recovered her leaving the scene. So that in itself, you can't get much stronger than that.
In May of 2011, Alabama's district attorney announces plans to seek the death penalty.
If anyone deserved the death penalty, she did. There's no doubt about it.
At her arraignment, Amy's lawyers reveal their strategy to prevent that from happening.
We figured there'd be a long trial from the outset. Her defense team began to sort of lay the groundwork that something was wrong with her.
Amy pled not guilty by reason of insanity, her attorneys arguing she wasn't in control of her actions, so she could not be held responsible for the consequences.
Her disturbance was deep, it was profound, it was a disconnection from reality, a disconnection from other people, and it had gone on for a very long time.
Capital murder defendants in Alabama are generally given court-appointed lawyers. Most of them don't have the money to pay for a defense that's going to be elaborate and expensive. She had good lawyers. You knew it was going to be a real fight.
All the while, Amy's husband remains loyal to his wife.
Her husband had been living in that with her for so long, it became in some way normal for him. He didn't think she was crazy because it was his reality.
But prosecutors aren't buying Amy's act.
The thing about a mental defense in our state is you have to be suffering from a severe mental illness, and you have to be suffering so bad that you do not know right from wrong. The pre-planning of I'm going to the shooting range and working on everything, it's hard to say, well, I didn't know right from wrong.
She knew what she was doing. She knew what she did was wrong. She tried to cover it up. She had a plan.
Her trial is scheduled for September 10th, 2012, which gives prosecutors plenty of time to gather additional evidence.
She was held in the jail leading up to the trial of this case, and so there were hours and hours of jail calls, and we listened to a lot of them.
They definitely indicate a woman who is in charge of her faculties.
Make sure you do this with the insurance policy, and you take care of this with the kids. And the person who was just so confused earlier was very much drill sergeant about here's what we do next. A pretty significant contrast.
Their defense would have been dead in the water. We had so much material off those jail phone calls, it was a gold mine.
I think it would have been pretty clear to a jury that she's not legally insane.
But as Amy's trial approaches, the state faces more opposition to the death penalty, this time from the most unlikely place.
We had a meeting with the victims' families, the ones who had lost their loved ones. They came and requested that we not seek the death penalty.
Maybe they decided that she had 4 young children. Maybe that would be too horrible for them as well. They had the compassion.
I got to tell you, I've never encountered that before in my career. There's nobody on the planet who wants the death penalty more than your victim's family. I've never had it any other way until I got to this case.
So instead, the district attorney decides to offer Amy a deal. In exchange for a guilty plea, she'd receive life in prison without the possibility of parole.
She ultimately decided to take the deal, which was not only a good idea as far as she is concerned, but it also gave everyone else closure without having to go through a long and drawn-out trial.
Part of the plea agreement is that you waive all your rights to appeal. And when she pled guilty, she agreed to that.
It was dramatic just because it was sort of the end of the road in this bizarre and tangled and sad case.
Since Amy will be spending the rest of her life in Alabama's Julia Tutwiler Prison for Women, authorities in Massachusetts decide not to prosecute her for the murder of Seth Bishop.
I think the fact that she will never get out of prison is a good thing. I think the punishment seems just.
She deserves every second she spends down at Tutwiler, and I don't think that anybody down there cares that she went to Harvard.
A disturbed woman's need for revenge had destroyed several families, including her own, and robbed a university of some of their best and brightest.
When you lose a huge portion of your entire department in one day, it's hard to come back from. This was a huge loss.
2 of the survivors suffered years of post-traumatic stress, blindness in one eye, and brain injury. Since then, one of the survivors has passed away.
I used to wake up someday and says, this could not have happened, but then it did. I knew all the people there, and it just still doesn't make sense to me.
It's the kind of thing that you can't help but remember, but wish you could forget.